When you hear the word introvert, you might think of someone who's painfully shy and avoids human interaction at all costs. You might even immediately identify with the word because you prefer staying in with a good book rather than going out. But those associations tend to be a rather simplistic view of introversion. Introverts prefer to be in minimally stimulating environments and tend to go inward to recharge, while extroverts are energized from interacting with others. Introverts also tend to have a low social desire and often withdraw from social activity. An introvert is an individual who prefers to be in less stimulating environments and needs to be alone to recharge. The 4 types of introverts. 1. Social introvert. Social introverts value solitude more than most people. They like being alone, but aren't opposed to the occasional gathering of close friends and family. A social introvert doesn't avoid crowds because of anxiety, but rather because of their preference. Where they feel the most comfortable and happy is either in complete solitude or in small groups in more subdued places. Common signs of a social introvert. Prefer tiny intimate gatherings. Will happily go on a solo date or vacation. Require alone time to recharge, especially in a relationship. Will accept social invitations with no intention to show up. Dating as a social introvert. When it comes to dating, social introverts will do well with both online dating and in-person dating. And because they do well in small groups, they can even try speed dating. Because introverts are very analytical, a social introvert should follow their intuition when they meet someone. They should focus on going to places they enjoy and skip the small talk. 2. Thinking introvert. The thinking introvert is very cognitive by nature, often intellectual. This type of introvert is often at peace when studying, reading, learning, researching, and investigating. The thinking introvert will often pause to cogitate before offering a response to a question. Let me think about that can be a very common response for the thinking type introvert. Many says introverts of this type are prone to getting lost in their thoughts and may actually mentally disappear from conversations due to a retreat into the mental world. Common signs of a thinking introvert. More introspective than the average introvert. Will lean toward activities that provide a mental haven for thinking, studying, reading, researching, musical pursuits, or other creative activities. Generally not reactive and will often pause to think before offering a response to a question. Super self-aware. Dating as a thinking introvert. When it comes to close relationships, Helgo says, it can be helpful for thinking introverts to narrate their introversion by asking for time to think in response to a question, for example, or by being upfront about requiring alone time to refuel. 3. Anxious introvert. The anxious introvert is often quiet and may appear on edge or nervous.
This type of introvert shrinks away from people and settings that may further stimulate anxiety.
The anxious introvert can be highly avoidant and even seem rude, yet the turning inward behavior is simply a protective, sheltering defense mechanism at work. You'll likely find anxious introverts at home because of nervousness or fear, usually catastrophizing events before they happen, which ultimately prevents them from stepping out of their comfort zones. Common signs of an anxious introvert. Typically appear at least mildly nervous in most situations. May appear highly avoidant and rude. Will avoid social interactions at all costs. Dating as an anxious introvert. When it comes to dating, anxious introverts probably won't do well with speed dating and other social dating events. But dating as an anxious introvert isn't impossible. They tend to do well being introduced by close friends or even with dating a close friend. When it's time to go out on dates, they should stick to what makes them comfortable. Pick dates that focus on you and your partner, make it enjoyable, and don't push yourself too far outside of your comfort zone. 4. Restrained introvert. The restrained introvert, also called the inhibited introvert, tends to be more reserved and can have their guards up around others until they get to know them. But rather than seeming shy or avoidant, they simply come off as thoughtful and grounded. The restrained introvert tends to be reflective and even plodding in nature, often unemotional. This type of introvert is often very controlled and may have very grounded energy. The restrained type introvert is often the quiet, dutiful person that others tend to rely on. Common signs of a restrained introvert. Move at a slower, more methodical pace in all things. Tend to enjoy predictable activities. Often unemotional. Dating as a restrained introvert. When it comes to relationships, a restrained introvert will be on the more reserved side while getting to know a potential love interest. The restrained introvert will likely keep personal information close to their chest until they're more comfortable in the relationship. which may take longer than usual because of the sluggish approach. The restrained introvert is likely to thrive in the realms of stability, thoughtfulness, and self-reflection. Although it may sound as if a person with this nature is boring, a restrained introvert can be extremely fun-loving and passionate.